So great seeing my next guest back in action. He's going to be taking on Michel Pereira, UFC 291, July 29th. It is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson back here on the program. Stephen, how are you?
Doing great, man. Doing great here in sunny Orlando, Florida, hanging out with the fam and obviously training every day, but still got a little vacation in and now here talking with you, brother.
Well, that's great, and I apologize for taking up some time on your vacation. I'll make sure you get your vitamin D today outside and all that. But let's talk about this fight. It appeared that this fight was going to be on UFC 289 in Vancouver. They move it to 291. What exactly happened? Was it an injury to Pereira? What reason were you given for the fight being moved? Because I don't think that's entirely clear.
To be honest with you, I didn't get a reason why they moved it. I just didn't get a contract up until like a few weeks before the fight was supposed to happen. Never didn't get the contract. I talked to my management. They talked to the UFC and they wanted to postpone. So of course I was like, sure, no problem. Let's do it. Salt Lake City. And to be honest with you, I'd rather fight in the States than somewhere else, you know? So I wasn't complaining too much. And it obviously gives me more time to prepare for the fight. Cause Michel Pereira is a monster, man.
Fair enough. You're kind of breaking my heart here, Stephen. I live in Vancouver, so it would have been nice if you would have come out here. We got some good mountains and good rain and all that. But I know what you meant, though. Domestically, it's a little bit easier to get over there. Did you think this fight might never happen? You know what's weird about this is that I believe you both still have the same management. So I figured this is like a pretty easy negotiation. Was there ever a point you thought this might not happen?
No, it was actually super easy. I told Sean Shelby, let's make the fight happen. Obviously that was one of the fighters that they had brought up. I knew that it was going to be an exciting fight, just like my last one with Kevin Holland, and that's what I'm going to give to the fans. And with the tough guy, up and coming guy who's kind of I think on a winning streak right now. If I defeat him, maybe one more, I'll be fighting somebody in the top 5.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously we know Pereira's a striker. Style wise, how are you looking at this one?
Oh my gosh, this one right here puts a smile on my face just because. Knowing he's a striker, but not only that, he throws stuff out of nowhere. Spin kicks, running across the cage, flying knees. The guy's got power. He's fun to watch, and that's the kind of fight I like.
Training camp, anything different for this one, or is it just business as usual at Upstate Karate and working with your usual guys?
Business as usual. I got Chris Weidman in camp because I think he's fighting 3 weeks after I
That's
fight
right.
Against Brad Tavares. So we're both preparing together. I head back this Wednesday, keeping the vacation short, and get back and getting some training in with Chris Weidman.
Any other bodies you get to work with? You and Carl Reed still work together at all?
No, Carl Reed is kind of doing his own thing now. It's still not too far from where we are, but he still keeps in touch. But right now, because he was like a 205er, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's a big guy, but I know you guys
huge,
did work.
Man.
Yeah,
he was a big dude, like 6'3". He walked around way over 230 pounds. He was a big guy. So I didn't want to get too heavy for this camp, even though Michel Pereira is a big welterweight, very strong. And at some point, I know we only got 3 rounds to get it done in, but I feel at some point he's probably going to try to shoot or get me up against the cage trying to hit me up. So what better guy to have than Chris Weidman?
And then aside from Weidman, any other bodies you get to work with? I'm sure some up and comers. Like who else do you get to work with?
Weston Wilson, who actually fought this past weekend on a 2 weeks notice against a tough opponent. He ended up getting finished in the first round, but he was so close to getting a knee bar. Super proud of the guy. Obviously, John Sweeney. We got a new guy that coming from I think it was Austin, Texas, via Penn State. He's a Penn State wrestler. Guy named Gino. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He just had his pro debut not too long. He also wrestled with Bo Nickel. He's kind of looking at the same route Bo Nickel took with the Contender Series, but tough wrestler. I mean, he's a natural 155er, but he walks around about 185. But the strongest guy that I've ever had the privilege to, especially somebody like walks around lighter than me, super. I mean, just ridiculously strong and high level wrestling.
How's Chris Weidman looking in camp? Remarkable what he's been through, and to come back and have this fight with Brad Tavares.
I mean, he's looking great. He's itching at the bit to get back out there and do it again. He's in training camp now. He's looking great. I mean, he really didn't lose anything. I mean, he's kicking as hard as he can with that leg, and even he said it himself. He was going to kick Brad Tavares right off the bat directly in the shin bone. I'm like, please don't do that.
Mhm. Yeah, not a great idea there. And you know, as you know, I can say this as I'm getting older as well. Is the weight cut more difficult now as you're getting older? How do you navigate through that as you know, the metabolism slows down a little bit?
Yeah, it does, man. I mean, try to come in during fight week a little bit lighter helps tremendously. And you know, having my mind right for it, mentally prepared for that battle leading up to the fight actually helps a ton. If I don't think about it and then I got to go right into that weight cut or not prepare my mind, it's just way harder. So I've got to go in there prepared, and coming in a lot lighter than normal, so that way I'm not losing as much, which is detrimental to my body, and I can definitely feel it.
Your corner, I imagine your dad will be in there. Who else will be in the cage with you that night?
So I have Carlos Machado, who I'm certified under. I'm a brown belt under him in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. My wrestling coach, Steve Deviney, who is an amazing wrestling coach. And, of course, Papa Ridgehand himself is going to be there in the corner, which we're about to get a water workout in a bit. So he's going to put me through my paces.
There we go. And how do you see this fight playing out? I don't think this one's going the distance.
No, man. I mean, obviously I never go out there looking for the knockout, but you know, I'm prepared for wherever the fight goes. If it's standing up, if it's on the ground, I always visualize my hand being raised, and that's what I visualize in my head. Hand being raised, baby.
Okay, there we go. Okay, some rapid fire questions and we'll get you out of here. Just say whatever comes to mind right away. Who is the best striker in the UFC besides yourself?
Izzy Adesanya.
Best grappler?
Oh, man. Islam.
Okay, funniest fighter?
Funniest fighter. I don't know the guy's name. He twerks in the cage.
Oh, Jordan Levitt?
Yeah, dude, I love that guy.
Okay, who would you want to have dinner with as a fighter?
Oh,
like,
man.
what fighter would you want to have dinner with?
Who would I want to have dinner with? It would have to be, like, they have to be in the UFC right now?
Yeah, MMA. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Okay, in MMA, I would love to sit down and let's see here. That's a good question. That's super hard.
It can be anyone. It can be, yeah, that doesn't matter, you
know? Let's go with Leon Edwards.
Okay. Who would you want by your side in a street fight?
Oh, man. In a street fight? I would say Mike Perry if he was still in there, but he's not.
You can go with Mike Perry. Mike Perry's fine.
Let's go with Mike Perry.
Okay. Who has the highest fight IQ, do you think?
John Jones.
Okay. And what is a dream fight that you want to see?
Dream fight that I would love to see, but it will never get, is John Jones and Ngannou. Would love to see that fight.
Back to you. Is this part of a new contract, this fight, or is this still on your old contract? I was trying to figure that out.
No, this is, well, I just signed it very recently, so it's part of that contract.
Nice.
Not super old, but fairly new.
Good. How was it getting to, coach alongside, like getting to work with Conor and all that?
It was super cool, man. I mean, I was actually out there with Kevin Holland doing the Jose Cuervo commercial. We were going through the PI with my management. Obviously, Conor's part of my management team and company, and he wanted me to be a part. I was getting ready to head back after the commercial, and my manager was like, Audie was like, "Hey, man, Conor wants you to stick around to be a coach." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Done. It's done." And it was great working with these up and coming fighters, man. It was really cool. They soaked it up like a sponge.
I'm sure you've met Conor before, but did anything surprise you, like getting to meet him? Maybe something you weren't expecting? Because I know obviously we see Conor the persona, and then there's Conor behind the scenes, right?
Man, super nice guy. He knows when that camera is on for sure. I mean, he could be facing me and a camera turn on behind him, and he just knows that it's on, and his persona just comes out. But it was a blast. I didn't realize that I was going to be able to work out. He actually worked me out, and I got to work out with the team, which was a lot of fun.
Would you ever want to be a coach on that show, like a full-time coach against another opponent?
I think that would be awesome. I think that would be a ton of fun. There's a lot. I love teaching to begin with. I don't know if I would be very dramatic on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
I just smile at everybody, but I think it would be fun.
What do you make of Colby Covington possibly getting the next title shot?
Oh, man, I think it's crazy. I mean, there's definitely more guys that are more deserving. I mean, Bilal Muhammad's on a crazy win streak. I mean, the guy gets the third shot at it for what? Because he beats one more guy. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
What do you make of this Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg fight? Do you think it's going to happen? What do you make of this whole thing?
I think it's all talk. I think it's just something to get everybody riled up on Twitter and social media. I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest with you. I mean, these guys, they have no reason to do it. But I know a lot of other fighters are letting them know that they would help out with their training camps, and so I got to shoot my shot too, man. I would love to train one of these guys and prepare for the other. It would be a ton of fun.
If you had a preference of who to train, who would you pick?
Man, I don't know, man, because Zach is training, like consistently training.
Zuckerberg, yeah,
Zuckerberg. So I would have to go with Elon, man. I mean, it would be the striker versus the grappler. I have to work on his striking.
Where does a win over Pereira put you in the grand scheme of things? Because one fight we haven't seen yet, and he still doesn't have an opponent yet, is Kamaru Usman. I think that would be a fun fight at some point.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, he doesn't have an opponent yet. I know he was talking about maybe going up a weight class, but I'm not really sure if that's going to happen now after that last one. But I think maybe one more, and the UFC would want me to fight somebody in the top 5. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously the Leon Edwards there has always intrigued me because I know he's a striker, comes out striker. He's a very well-rounded fighter now, but he's known for his striking. So I think it would be a really fun fight.
Are you still kind of that idea that you just want to fight a striker? I know that's something you talked about, how, it's not fun getting taken down and fighting these wrestlers. Is that still kind of your philosophy of like, hey, if I get an opponent, I want it to be exciting?
I just wanted it to be exciting because my last 2 were super boring.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I figured as much.
I want the excitement back for the fans. I don't want to be known as a boring fighter, even though sometimes my opponents can make the fight boring. But no, I mean, I will fight whoever, whenever. It doesn't matter if they're a grappler or not. What
did you think of Charles Oliveira's win over Beneil Dariush? That was a card you were supposed to be on.
Very good fight, man. Very entertaining, a lot of fun. It just shows how good Oliveira is, man. I mean, he's come a long way. He's been in the UFC for a very long time. And it's crazy, man. The older this guy gets, the better he gets. Like fine wine, this dude is just crushing everybody. I mean, before long, he's going to get another title shot as well.
And last one, did you happen to catch the UFC main event last week and Sean Strickland and Abus Magomedov? Did you get to see it?
I didn't get to. I was actually traveling on that day. But Sean Strickland, from what I saw, just did what he just walked forward like the Terminator and just put it on him.
Yeah, you got it done. Hey, Steven, thanks so much for doing this. Like I said, don't want to cut in too much to the vacation. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Well, yeah, you guys can follow me on Wonderboy MMA on Instagram and Twitter, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson on Facebook. I want to thank you for having me on the show, my friend, and hopefully you guys tune in July 29th, baby. Let's go.